Howdy, friends, and welcome to The Story Field. This is a podcast where we talk about business, faith, and life in general.
Okay, so here's the deal. We want you to be encouraged. We want you living in hope. This life we live is complex. It's hard at times. At The Story Field, you will find great stories of normal people just like us who will inspire you. Our goal is that you leave encouraged, inspired, and excited to move forward in life. But before we get started, one thing though, if you're listening and you find yourself really hopeless right now, send us an email at hope@thestoryfield.com so we can pray for you. Thanks for joining us today. Let's get started.
So, Craig, Scoville, man, I know I say this a lot, and I really do, but I really am really excited that you're here today.
Well, I appreciate that, man.
I know you have a fantastic story, and that's my heart, is to see if I can dig that out of you. So I didn't want to ask too much kind of before the show,
Sure.
because it's kind of like, we're going to cross-examine you, see if you can pull out your story. But I want you to tell, with the podcast and the story field, we're really interested in people's stories because I think it really inspires people, and it inspires them to move forward, and it gives them hope. And your story is a story of hope, and you have a lot to tell. And I kind of want I want the real version. I want the true, the good, bad, and the ugly, and all. So, we like to start kind of from your childhood and track a little bit of a timeline. So, let's dive in today, and then tell us, let's just get into it. Where did you grow up? I want to know about your childhood, and then. Fast forward just so people can get a snapshot on you now. You're a missionary. You have been a long time. You're a long-term missionary. You are the missions pastor at Cottonwood Church here in Dublin, Texas area. It's Dublin, right? Or do y'all call it? Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if it was leaked over to another town that y'all said. And then, you are a business owner, overseas. And you're a president of Kids Across Cultures, which I want to get into all this stuff. But so that's where we're at now. And how long have you been with the church? Let me ask that before you back into childhood.
I've been here since we came the first and joined in 1998.
Okay.
And that was right when, just soon afterwards, when Mike, our pastor, began kind of really feeling led to pursue God overseas in cross-cultural setting. And
Okay.
so we were only here for 2 years, a year and a half before we went overseas with the church.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
So since 98. And then you have grandkids and great-grandkids.
I do, yeah.
So that's a sweet
great.
time. That's awesome, Greg. Okay.
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's where you're at today.
Yeah.
Craig doesn't look old enough to have
know,
to be a
man.
pawpaw.
No kidding.
Maybe Gramps,
Well,
but a
that's
pawpaw.
They call me Paw, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
perfect. Well, you're doing something right. Okay, well, take us back. So, tell us about childhood, where you grew up, and just that experience.
Yeah.
And we'll go from there.
Okay. So, I was born in Lincoln, Nebraska. And parents, I was the youngest of 4 kids. And my parents were, my mom was just a real godly woman, loved the Lord, and was doing her best to raise 4 kids. We were, I guess what you call a pretty impoverished family. We didn't know it back then, but, looking back, we were. My dad did a lot of different small businesses, but he was really had just struggled with alcoholism really bad. So from my childhood, some of my earliest memories are, growing up were of him coming home drunk and stupering through the door and arguing and fighting with my mom. And they just struggled in their marriage. Obviously she's at home trying to raise us, and he's coming home drunk every night, One of the things I remember, I guess I was probably 4 years old. One of my earliest memories is my dad coming home, and I was out in the front yard playing, and he said, "Tell your mom I'm going to the neighbor's house." And so I ran in the house, and of course, going to the neighbor's house to me meant, oh, Dad's going to drink. And so I just ran in the house and said, "Hey, Mom, Dad's going to get drunk at the neighbor's," and went back outside, and went up the street to my friend's house, and we were playing, and my dad came and got me and took me back to the house. And he asked me out in the front yard, he said, "Do you want me to stay here? Do you want me to live here and be your dad?" And of course, 4-year-old kid, of course, yeah, you're my dad. I need you. And he said, "Well, what you said to your mom, never say that again, because if you keep doing that, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna have to leave." And so at 4 years old, I kind of took responsibility.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's hard to think that you can remember that clearly as a 4-year-old. I mean,
Yeah,
a core memory. Did he stay?
he did stay for a while. I mean, I kind of just took responsibility for that, as a kid. As I didn't know what I was doing, but in my mind, it was like, okay,
Like it's
Dad's an
your job to
alcoholic,
keep
but I got to keep
your.
this a secret. I don't know.
Oh, wow.
It wasn't no
And
secret
it's
to
your
it.
job to keep him here.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a good way
man.
to put it. Thank you. So we just went through life like that. My mom would take us to church every Sunday morning, Sunday school, and we'd sit through church. And so I learned a lot about, as a little kid does. I knew all the Bible stories. I knew the songs they teach you in Sunday school. But I never had a relationship with the Lord at all. I mean, I just knew of him. I didn't know him. And it was later on, I think I was in 5th grade, 6th grade, that they finally split. My dad, him and his brother got into a business down here in Texas, and they just decided it was best that he go. And so my mom worked at a nursing home and tried her best to, support 4 kids. And it was tough. I know it was very, very tough on her. And I just got angry. I was very angry during that time that he would leave us. And I didn't understand everything that was going on. I was angry that he left. I was angry that, that all my friends had parents, and I had this, there was just a lot of bitterness in me. And so I started acting out a lot at school. Started using drugs at 13, smoking marijuana, and lots of, this is during the 70s. So a lot of LSD, things like that. And
as a junior high kid?
Yeah, 13.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And so, I just was getting in trouble at school. I was constantly either fighting or, acting out in class. I mean, I was constantly in trouble. And eventually, I made it to I think the early part of 9th grade. And my mom had to go down and meet with counselors and all that. So through the years, and they finally called us to the superintendent's office for the schools over all of the city. And they removed me from any of the public schools in Lincoln, Nebraska at that time, and said, you basically can't come back. And so,
Oh, my.
I was,
And how old were you then, Craig? I mean,
I was
that?
probably, I think I was finished 8th grade, was about to start into 9th grade.
Oh, my.
Yeah, probably the end of my 8th grade year. And so, my mom and dad talked, and they kind of, while he had been in Texas, had kind of pretty much quit drinking. And so they were willing to give it another try. And he committed to my mom that he wasn't going to drink anymore, and had not been apparently for quite some time, I don't know, a year or so. And so he came up and packed us all up, and we moved to Rising Star, Texas.
Oh my.
Yeah.
That's how you got here.
Yeah. I was
Why, why,
14.
why Rising Star though? Like why, was he working down here or something?
Yeah, that's where him and his brother got that
Okay.
business, little oil business. So, yeah, and then I started going to high school there. And of course, it doesn't matter where you are, you can find what you're looking for. And
Yeah.
I fell right into the crowds of guys that were drinking and using drugs, and I was having some things going on because I'd been so angry and bitter, and here's this opportunity uh, for me to have a dad again, and I was kind of excited about that. I was really excited about that, but that drug life also had a good hold on me, and so um, I jumped into that and just continued on with using drugs all through high school. Um,
Did your
didn't do
parents
very well.
did,
What's that?
did your parents know about that?
They,
Or
I really tried very hard to hide it. They knew. They didn't have any idea how severe it was. Um, they knew, especially, I mean, I was drinking and, smoking marijuana and stuff, and they knew about that, and they tried to deal with it, as best they could, but they didn't know how deep it had gotten.
and your other siblings, so you said you were the youngest, right?
Yeah.
So did they have similar struggles? Did they see kind of the same pattern with your siblings
Yeah.
as well?
Yeah. My oldest brother, he's the oldest. He had a lot of the same problems. And I have two sisters, and they both kind of delved into it, but not
Yeah,
like not like we
not like the
were.
boys. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, anyways, uh, I always had this compassion for my mom, and so I worked really hard to try to keep her from knowing everything that was going on from the time I was a kid, up until I got delivered. But so in high school, senior year, was just partying and doing lots of drugs and barely making it through school. I always joke around and say they handed me a diploma and said, "Please don't ever come back here."
Mm-hmm.
uh, but in my senior year, my dad had a massive heart attack. He was, along with his drinking, he was a heavy smoker. He smoked 2-3 packs of cigarettes a day, and had a massive heart attack, and was in the hospital. And I was just frantic. Um, I had stopped going to church, of course, when I was probably 10, 11 years old.
But was your
But I
mom
still
still
had,
trying to get y'all to go?
yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I mean, she made the mistake of giving us the choice.
Uh, oh
And,
yeah.
you know,
And then
uh,
was your dad ever willing to go?
no, it's kind of funny. So my dad we'd ask him when I was little, I'd say, "Dad, why aren't you coming to church? Come to church with us." He said, "Well, I'm Catholic, so I go to the Catholic church."
Okay.
And in Lincoln, the big Catholic church was right across from the First Baptist church that we went to, like right across the street. And so they had a balcony with windows looking out over the street. And so my sister and I would get up there and look out the window and try to see if we could see our dad going into the
Yeah.
church. Never
Yeah.
did see him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, but anyways, I remember my mom was at the hospital with my dad, and I remember laying on on my bed and just praying and asking God, um, you know, Lord, I know I don't really have this relationship with you, but I'm a high school kid, so I'm praying, God, if you will just take me and let my mom have my dad, and
Wow.
I would do that, and I just, I don't know what I expected God to do, but I wanted my dad to be healed so bad. And as much for my mom as for me or anybody, because she was genuinely happy being with him as a not drinking. And it was about, I don't know, 4 or 5 days later. A couple of days later, he had another massive heart attack and then passed away.
Oh man.
And that anger just turned into rage. That anger that I'd felt earlier. I was angry, and I remember consciously saying, I'm going to do everything in my power to get back at you, Lord.
Yeah.
I hate you. And I just was angry. I got out of high school, and that's what I set out to do, is just whatever I could do to get back at the Lord. And so,
Wow. You immediately signed responsibility to the Lord for not answering that.
Yeah.
I mean, as a high schooler, yeah. Oh man.
So I started. I knew. I started using harder drugs. I started getting into methamphetamines, and of course, marijuana and just anything, but mostly methamphetamines, and started using needles and just got really deep into it. I moved. I got so bad, I felt like I needed to get away from my mom. I'm still trying to hide all this from her. And so I moved to Austin, Texas, and found work down there and started kind of in that lifestyle down there. And I just got, I got as bad as I probably could get over the next few years. I was using, of course, every day, and and a lot.
And was this like from 18 to 21 type of age range, like after high school, or did you hang around Rising Star a little bit?
I did hang around a little bit. I worked in the oil field and did some stuff around there. I want to say I moved down to Austin when I was probably 23.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 22, 23, and was there for 5 years almost.
And you just went big time at it. Yeah. Hard.
Yeah, I was buying and selling and using, and I got into just some dark places. I often don't share those stories just because they're so dark, and they don't bring glory to God. And
yeah,
but it was dark, and as dark as I could imagine. And at the end of it, I was at my house I had a bedroom, and all of the guys and people that I was dealing with and stuff were all either in prison. A couple of them had gotten killed, and it was just a rough time. And
just
I knew,
like drug death, Craig,
yeah,
okay, just overdose and whatever.
Yeah,
okay.
So I was in my room, and I realized, I was probably down to about 160, 70 pounds, and my skin was gray looking. I mean, I just looked like a junkie. I was, that's what I was. But I knew that night that I'm either going to die, just die, or I'm going to be in prison over the next couple of days, and or in jail and then prison. And I was in my room. I'm thinking this, and I'm just frantic. And I look over on my nightstand, and there's an old paperback Bible on my nightstand. I don't know if you remember these. They gave them out during the 70s, during the Jesus movement. They gave out these. They're called the Way Bibles, paperback Bibles. And we had that thing. Somebody had knocked on our door back when I was a little kid and gave it to us.
Oh my God!
And I mean, it was pages tore out of it, and we had kids writing in it.
But you still carried it down with you?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, that's a funny thing, Josh. I don't remember that, and I sure don't remember how it got on that nightstand. And I know that sounds crazy, but I don't. I had some roommates, and I don't know. Maybe I did carry it down there with me, and it got set there for a reason. But it was that very Bible. It wasn't, one like it. It was that one. And I just picked it up and I opened up to Acts and started reading about Paul and how the Lord had encountered him on the road.
Oh my gosh.
And it just, I mean, it was like the Bible stories from when I was a kid, from vacation Bible school and Sunday school, just began to flood my mind. And I just cried out to God in that moment. I just said, Lord, I know what I've done. And if you can save me, whatever's left in my life, I'll give it to you. It's yours.
Oh my.
And just a peace washed over me in that moment that I can't, it's hard to describe, but it was like just this peace, a physical peace, but a spiritual and emotional peace.
Oh man.
And I just laid down in my bed and I fell asleep. And I woke up the next morning and I woke up and I realized as soon as I woke up, I am free of drugs. I'm not a drug addict anymore.
Oh
I didn't
my
have
gosh.
to do any, no rehab or any of those things. And
Oh
I mean, it was just,
wow.
yeah, it was crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy to work for. And he just, he redeemed my physical body, my soul. And right away, I mean, I jump out of bed and I'm like, oh my gosh, everything's different. I look outside and I mean, I see nature and I see things and it's like, I'm not looking for a needle and I had tried, Josh, I tried for a few years in there to quit myself.
Yeah.
I can't tell you, this is crazy too. I would, every once in a while, I'd just get so bad. I'd get in my car and drive back to Rise and Star just to sleep for a couple of days.
Yeah.
And I'd be driving down the road between Austin and Rise and Star and have, needles and little vials of meth. And I'd throw it out the window in a bar ditch thinking, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to use any more. And I'd get about 5 miles down the road and turn around and go back and be out there looking in the ditch, trying to, it was just bad. I could not get free of it. But when the Lord set me free, it was like a whole new beginning.
Hey, y'all. I just want to make an observation. When I see someone going through a legal situation, it seems like there are way too many unknowns. Well, the Allen firm provides legal guidance so that you can make a great decision, come to a resolution, and be at peace. For more information about the Allen firm, visit allenlawfirm.com.
Well, and sounds like you wanted to, like you didn't like it. Like, I mean, is that, I don't want to put words in your mouth. Is that true? Like I mean, you were just enslaved.
I was, and it had gotten to the place, unless I don't know, I don't want to sound weird about this, but if you haven't been in it, it's hard to describe and hard to understand the evil and the darkness that's involved in that when it gets to it, when it really gets to a fruition of, I just remember things that I watched people do, or I empowered people to do by selling them drugs that, just pure evil, satanic evil.
Yeah.
And, for me, it was I was so repulsed by that, but I couldn't get free of it.
Yeah.
There was something in me that the Lord drawing me to himself that was pushing against that. I just didn't know what it was. But then when he got a hold of me, it was, oh, okay, this is what he's doing.
Golly.
So right away, I grabbed that Bible and I started reading, and I didn't know what I was reading, but I was reading. Started praying. I didn't know how to pray, but it was really cool because immediately, within a few days, the Lord started speaking to me, and I knew it was him.
How did you know? How'd you know?
You just have this
because there are people I want to know, like how they.
Yeah. Well, the only way I can describe it is when Jesus says, I'm the good shepherd, and my sheep hear my voice and they know it's me, And it's like, and you're knower. I don't know how to,
Yeah.
but
No, yeah,
it's like,
absolutely.
I've never heard this voice before. The voices that I've ever heard before were, evil voices telling me to do things to hurt
Yeah.
people or to
Which
hurt
don't
myself.
produce peace,
They
you know.
don't. And then all of a sudden this voice comes and it says, love you.
Yeah. Oh,
I've got best for you. And here's what I want you to do. Follow me. And the first thing I knew is like the Lord was saying, you need to leave this job, leave Austin, and I want you to go back to Rising Star. And I'm like, Rising Star? Are you serious?
that's the ground zero for that.
Well, and it's like, there's nothing in Rising Star but a red
Yeah.
light. It's like,
Yeah.
and my mom's there, but I mean, I was just on, how you get when you're first saved. I was like, okay. So I did. I quit that job and packed up my stuff, and I was still packing. And a friend of mine's parents called me and said, "Hey, we just opened a dairy, and we need somebody to come help us with it." And I was like, I have no idea. I don't know anything about cows. I don't know anything about dairies. That's okay. We'll teach you. And so I went back to Rising Star and got plugged into my mom's church. It's a little First Baptist church there. I think there was about 60 people going, and the average age was about 80.
Yeah. Oh man, talk about you just entered into the love zone. Like you'll get
Uh,
loved on by those people.
yeah, it was sweet. There's a young couple there, John and Cheryl Bernard, and he was a Howard Payne student, and they got that little church. They get Howard Payne students to come over and do youth. They would be the youth pastors until they went on to seminary or whatever, and then they get a new one. And John and Cheryl were there, and I met them, and he just immediately kind of saw where I was at and what was going on, and took me under his wing and began discipling me. And
Oh my gosh. Investing
we've
in
just
people's
been,
lives like that. I mean,
yeah, they were so special in my life, and then it's just like that. The Lord just took me from there to other places along the way, and each place that God took me, eventually they went on to seminary, and I stayed another year, and then I was really needing some deeper discipleship and relationship with the Lord, and He moved me to another church over in Comanche, Texas. And so I was driving back and forth from Rising Star to Comanche. Anytime the doors were open, I'd be there. And the pastor there was that discipleship, experiencing God, had just come on. Are you familiar with
oh
that?
yeah, huh?
Henry
Blackaby's
Blackaby.
book, yeah.
It was fairly new at that time, I think,
Mhm.
and he was doing that. And man, I went through that, and it really, for a simple kind of discipleship,
Oh, it was
it
good.
really gave me a great perspective on
Yeah.
faith and what God's about, what He's doing and stuff. So it was really helpful. Met my
Oh my
wife there,
gosh.
and
Okay, I was wondering where your bride came in the picture. Okay.
yeah, she was the single adult Sunday school teacher.
Okay.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. So I always
Um,
kid with her that she saw me coming, and
Tom, yeah. Laura had her waiting for you. So,
yeah,
time out for a second.
yeah.
Did you have any like hard time leaving Austin or with friends and people kind of in that, in that world? Did they give you a hard time? And then kind of also, what was it like when like getting back to Rising Star and your family's like response to it all? Like, just talk about those two things for a minute.
Okay. I did, yeah. I mean, that was part of my trying to get off drugs that for that little season. I mean, I would ask friends. I had there was a couple that we shared a house, so we rented a house down there, and they had the most part of the biggest part of the house, and I basically rented a room and a little space, like a garage space. It's like
Yeah.
kind of like a garage apartment type thing. And I also worked with her, the wife, and I was pretty close with them the whole time I was there. I just had that one job, so I worked with her for several
Oh,
years.
okay.
And I mean, they just told me, well, if you quit using, where are we going to get our drug? Or, we're going to have to go find new supplier. And they're both,
Yeah.
druggies are pretty open about it. They don't have
Yeah.
any desire to help anybody. It doesn't, there is no, even, there is no, for most drug addicts, there's no, I don't know, friendship, no relationship
Yeah.
that's
It's like transactional and negative a lot of
yeah.
times.
I mean, they're using you like you're using them. And
Yeah.
that's kind of that lifestyle. So, and I had, people that would try to contact me later on after I was free of all that, still wanting to, get drugs. But then, when I told my mom, I called her that morning that I woke up
Oh, wow.
and said, Mom, I had this thing happen. And of course, I feel like she was probably concerned.
Yeah. She's like, crud.
But I said, I gave my life to Christ last night. He saved me. And I mean, she
Oh, my.
was ecstatic, crying. She said, I've been praying for you, and I knew she had. She prayed for me probably every day.
Oh, yeah.
And I came back, and of course, all the people that knew me and knew my previous life were like, is this real?
Yeah.
My brother really had a hard time with it because he was still into it. And, he had watched me over the years not want anything to do with faith
Yeah.
or any of that. So, but he kind of later on came around to.
Unstuck Coaches hates it when movement and progress in a person's life or business is stuck, or frozen, or slowed, or just stopped altogether. Well, we have found a solution. Unstuckcoaches.com. They offer a variety of coaching services to get you or your business moving again. Check out unstuckcoaches.com.
Oh, it's hard to argue with the story and the change.
Yeah. It is really hard to argue with that. And when the Lord, if you continue on the path with the Lord, there's going to be fruit that comes out of your life. And,
Yeah.
It was, it's good. So, but yeah, there was, there's some of that, but it wasn't like people were
Yeah. Okay.
beating down my doors.
Take a tangent for a minute. Based on your story to that point, how do you help somebody? How do you minister to somebody who is in, deep in that dark world like you were in? Do you have any practical tips for somebody, maybe a family member who has some family going through that, or how do you help?
Yeah.
As a believer?
I think, and I mean, I'm fairly opinionated in this, and sometimes I'm not an expert, obviously, at helping people with it. I've done that and I've tried it. Sometimes it's worked and sometimes it's failed. But I think what I see typically is a lot of people in that situation initially are sorry about their circumstances. Maybe they got arrested and they're sorry that they got arrested. Their wife found out, or whatever, or somebody found out, and they're sorry that they got caught, basically.
Yeah. And
what I've seen with drug users, especially ones that are deep into it, there's got to be a brokenness for their sin. And it's not, I'm sorry I got caught. It's, oh my gosh, what have I done to my family, my wife, my kids, if they have any kind of understanding, what have I done to God? How have I sinned against him? And when they get to that place, that's a true brokenness. The Bible describes it as a godly sorrow.
Yeah.
And there's, that's where we all need to get.
Yeah.
But in my mind, especially the addict, because before they get to that place, everything's about them. I mean, addiction really is I mean, there's a lot of things involved in it, but it's very selfish.
Yeah.
It's very me centered. When I was in the throes of my addiction, it was all about me getting drugs for me.
Yeah. But a lot of times it's numbing something in their life or their past.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
just
And I think
like,
that's where the next stage comes in, or a stage, whether it's next, is, really getting genuine with people.
mm,
I've sat down with a lot of people and, they'll talk about using a little bit of pot or this or that, kind of covering what they're really doing, and then begin to talk about the evil and the way that the enemy uses that stuff to bring you to places to do things you would never do normally. And when they realize that you understand, that you get what they're going through, then they begin to open up and they'll begin to talk about that stuff. And, that's another place where they have to be confronted with how evil this is and where it comes from before they can get to, hey, there's a way out. God provided a way out. And no matter what you've done, I'm just telling you, Josh, Mike, I did some evil stuff. I did some terrible stuff.
yeah.
I look back on some of the things I did and I'm like,
Yeah.
how could you forgive me? But he does.
Yeah.
And not only does he forgive us, but he restores us.
Yeah.
And so when you help people kind of understand and they can get to a place where, man, I want that. I want that more than anything else. I want redemption. I want restoration. I want peace, all the things that the Lord offers. Then they can get there. And it's not easy. Not everybody has an experience like I did.
Yeah.
Goes to sleep and wakes up the next day. Most people don't have that. And so being with them and helping them in the midst of the pain of addiction and getting off the drug.
Getting to the godly sorrow point, it may just require a bunch of prayer. I mean, you can't change a heart. But it seems like forgiveness from the Lord and just like the restoration process are probably two separate things, and one's a lot longer path,
Yeah. I think so. And I think another thing that we commonly
most
do,
people,
one thing that and a lot of times parents commonly do is enable kids.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I don't know. I'm sure there's 1,000 different views on that, but somebody who has maybe a parent who has a kid going through that stuff, like, how do you set them up, love them well, but not like keep it going for them? I mean,
I mean, it's got to be hard. Again, for me, it was like I was ashamed of what I was doing, especially for my mom. I did not want to. I didn't want her to know how deep I was into it. I didn't want to, and I'd never asked her for anything to, because and I think that's something the Lord had put in me, I guess. I don't know, but a lot of people are not that. A lot of people will take advantage, and this is again how far it will take you. Will take advantage of their own parents. Take anything they can get from them. Take their money, their possessions to buy drugs, and it's not only destructive for the user, but it's destructive for those who care about them. Sin defiles everyone around us, right?
Do you ever think back at the night, the prayer and the, delivery, just the radical delivery, like, and there's no formula with God, it doesn't seem like, but like, what was it? I wonder as you kind of think back that he really just honored in the prayer, that he was like, now it's time,
I think it was that rock bottom, and that belief. Something triggered in me, as those stories and all that, I give that to the Holy Spirit.
Yeah.
It's triggering in me this remembering,
Mhm.
and then there's that moment of true repentance. I wasn't sorry that I was in that place. I wasn't sorry that I was about to die. I was sorry for what I'd done to the Lord, for how I'd sinned
Wow.
against Him. And since this is recorded, not live, I'll tell you. I usually don't. I only tell certain people this. I feel
Yeah.
like I tell this to you guys.
Yeah.
There was in that moment as well. I had this vision that there was this demonic creature standing over me, just laughing.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and it was just an evil, dark laugh.
Yeah.
And in the midst of that, this hand comes and picks me up and takes.
Wow.
And a
Wow.
lot of people think you're crazy when you talk like
No
that.
way, man.
But it was
That's
very
probably as
genuine.
true as Joe. Yeah.
Well, it was so real. And it was almost like that too was a picture for me of what the Lord was doing. That he was pulling me out of all of the stuff. And but I think it was that repentant moment.
Yeah.
You know, we the Bible says that we're to really, it says believe on me and you'll be
Yeah.
saved. But there's often times where it says repent and believe. And um, and I think that's why I have that strong feeling for other addicts is,
Mm.
um, and I say other addicts. I'm not an addict anymore.
Yeah.
The Lord set me free from that.
Yeah.
But for addicts, is that you can't just be sorry that you got caught. You can't just be
Mhm.
sorry that you've run out of ideas. You have to be broken over
Yeah.
your sin, and when you get to that place, man, the Lord, that's
You can look at all kinds in Scripture. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff about he loves that broken
yeah,
and contrite heart. He moves on that. I mean, that place is like where the poor in spirit, like that's where you're blessed.
amen.
Like,
Yeah,
oh man.
and
Well,
He's faithful.
what is that? And we'll pick up at the story, but what is that to that point in the deliverance and where he's getting you in church and getting discipling you? What does that say about him? What
It
does that
says
say
that
about
He
him?
has a purpose and a plan for each of us. Um, there's a passage in Ephesians 2:10, I believe it is. It talks about how God, or that we are created for good works that God prepared beforehand for us. And so we're to walk in them. We're to walk in those good works. And I really believe that God has a plan. He had a plan for Josh. He had a plan for Micah. He had a
Mhm.
plan for Craig before we were ever born, before anything was created. Maybe that He knew your story, and His desire is for you to walk in those good works in that story. And man, um, when we do that, it's like this is why He created me.
Yeah.
We can run around. I did. I ran around and I took different jobs and did different things, and the whole time. And this is after I was saved.
Yeah.
I knew, okay, this is providing for me, and this is a good thing, but it's not what God's got for me.
Yeah.
And you just know it. And but then that moment that I stepped into missions and first went over into East
Wow.
Asia, and I met this people group that we're working with. It was like, oh, this is
There
why
it
this is
is.
why he made me.
Wow.
And when you can find that and you can walk in it, man, it is. There's nothing like it. There's nothing like it.
Does we were talking I was talking with people recently about just how we image God and view the Father, thinking about us even like um what does he think about the people even in the middle of addiction? I mean, I just hear your story. I'm like, what does that really say about how the Father thinks about us?
Oh yeah, he loves us, man.
Oh my gosh.
He loves us. He loves us so much that he allows his son to come, even when we're in the midst of that, when we're in the midst of the evil, when we're looking at him and saying, I hate you.
Yeah.
I want nothing to do with you. Or I'm going to spend my whole life trying to get back at you. He loves us so much that his son came and suffered and died on our behalf. It says he came when we were yet enemies.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing? I love that.
So amazing, man.
I love it.
Oh, wow. Well, no, I think I want people to hear that from your story. Like, it's a big deal. Like, don't use the excuse of, like, I've crossed the line too far. Like, no, I don't feel like there is a line with him that you can cross.
You can. I mean, that I know of.
Wow.
And you know, what's amazing to me, this is something that's been really, really healthy and good for me in my walk with the Lord, is that sometimes I feel like Christians have this sin consciousness. We think about sin too much. I mean, we're called, of course, to repent and believe. So we repent of our sin and we believe in the Lord. We give our life to him. He indwells us with the Spirit. But it's more than just that. It's like he took that old addict, the spirit of that old addict, and when I came to faith in Christ, that spirit died. It's
Yes.
The Bible says it's dead and gone. And he made me a new creation.
Wow.
And he didn't just make me a, sort of good creation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Partially clean creation. Not like when you wash your clothes and you still got some stains.
Yeah.
There are no stains. And, I think as Paul says, Paul in Romans, that just as death reigned through Adam, life, because when we receive the abundance of grace, life reigns in us, that we can reign in life through Christ. And man, that's amazing. I want to reign in life. I want to live this life knowing that God made me his child through relationship with Jesus. He calls me his righteousness in Christ Jesus. He's created and made us to not just live through this life or, kind of, okay, I got my ticket punched, I'm going to heaven, but to reign in life, to have dominion over. To me, that reigning in life means to have dominion over fear and lust and addiction and all the things of the world, all the things of this flesh. We can have dominion over because of this relationship. And that kind of love from God.
Oh man.
You don't see it in any of the other religions, right? You look at the other major religions and there's nothing like that.
No, there's always usually rules and performance and earning it.
Yeah.
And it's just like we come, he kills us, buries us, and raises us new. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Okay, well, I want to hear about, before we wrap up. So you've gone through a few jobs. You were in Comanche. You met your future bride.
Yeah.
How did you end up getting to Cottonwood and getting to the mission field from there?
Yeah, we'd met and we kind of dated. Well, we were friends for a good while, and then we dated a little bit and just felt like it was the right thing to get married. I feel like, okay, this is the person the Lord has for me.
Yeah.
And my wife's 10 years older than me, and she had kids from a previous marriage, and so that's my girls.
Awesome.
And Michael, she had Michael also was her son with Down syndrome, and he passed away while we were on the field. And so we have the two girls, Amy and Heather, now, and of course their kids are our grandkids.
Oh yeah.
But while we were at Eastside Baptist Church in Comanche, and just loved it. We had great friends there. We're close with the pastor and his wife, and just had really grown. All this time felt like the Lord was inviting me to some sort of ministry, but I didn't know what. And so I was kind of pursuing different things there, and nothing seemed to click. But there was a guy that came that did some teaching when our pastor was out one time by the name of Peter Lord, and he taught on a lot of the things that I was just talking about, just on, that we were created for more than just salvation. I mean, salvation's wonderful. It's great. Don't get me wrong, but God's got a plan and a purpose for us. right
Man,
here, right.
I had a friend send me a Peter Lord old YouTube
Oh
just
yeah.
this last week. He's
Yeah.
like,
Was
don't
it?
make fun of the overheads,
Yeah.
projectors up, but okay, yeah.
Yeah. He had a great sermon that was super popular called Turkeys and Eagles, and just a lot of stuff from Peter Lord. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah.
Anyways, it was during that teaching, and we were kind of in this season of, man, we want more, that God just began to stir in us a desire um, for more of Him, and talked with our pastor at the time, and he was very honest with us. He said, I know you love the church, we love you, but the things that God's doing, I don't see us moving in those directions anytime soon.
Yeah.
So we just began to pray and ask God, is there a place we need to move to? We need to go.
Yeah.
And to keep it not too long, we checked out a couple churches. Nothing seemed to fit at all. And a friend of our oldest daughter, wasn't even a believer, invited us to go to Cottonwood.
Wow.
And he had been working in Dublin, and I think he was kind of sweet on a girl that was going to Cottonwood. And
Yeah.
so he said, I think you'll like the music over there. Why don't you go give it a try? So we did. The music was okay. It was fine.
Yeah.
But Mike was preaching on just, God and his glory, and living a life that honors God and glorifies God, that we weren't created to just kind of get through life, but that we were created for a purpose. And I mean, it was just speaking to our soul.
Yeah.
And so we were I think we came 2 or 3 times and joined. And
Wow.
the Lord just began to really speak to us. And it was really pretty quickly after that, Mike came to the church. And I remember pretty clearly him saying, I haven't been a Great Commission pastor. And I just feel like the Lord is wanting us to go beyond our borders.
Wow.
Cross cultural. And
So at that point, like y'all they had not been over
no, I think
out of the U.S. much.
there was a couple that went years before that to the mission field, but there was no connection really. I mean, a little bit, but not much. It wasn't a church thing. And so he had gone to a conference and met a guy by the name of Mike Stroop, who's now I think he's the dean of missions over at Truett Seminary. And he came and did like a little mini missions conference for us, him and a couple other folks. And they came, and it was the first time that I ever heard about unreached people groups around the world and the 1040 window and all of that. And I just could not hardly wrap my brain around the fact that there was places where huge numbers, half the world, where people had never heard the gospel ever. And one of the ways that he put it was that in these places, God is not worshiped because they've never heard of him. He's not worshiped by his people. And that just got all over me. It just kind of was like one of those things that's like, I can't grasp that. How can God, who saved me, delivered me, redeemed me, did all these things in my life, not be worshiped by people that belong to him? They just don't know him yet. And so we, as a church, began to pursue this missional endeavor, and we went through quite a bit to get to a place where we ended up with adopting a people group in East Asia. And it was interesting. I wasn't able to go on the trip where they came back with a recommendation to the church which people group we should adopt, but my wife went. And when she got back, she told me about the different people groups and things. And then they made this recommendation about the honey to the church. And I just knew there was something coming from that. I'd never really thought about going overseas before that. Just never clicked in my mind. And not long after that, a guy came, him and his wife that were working with that people group in East Asia, and were presenting to us, what they were doing and what they'd like to see happen, what they wanted to see happen. And it was during that, came from the Widow's Mite story which I won't get into. It's a little long too,
Yeah.
but um, it was the Lord just was so clear to me that this is what I've got for you. This is what you've been searching for.
Wow.
And I looked at my wife, and she just kind of nodded, okay.
Yep. Here we
And
go.
so we started the process of getting overseas with the. We went with the IMB, and we're there working with this people group that the church had adopted, and that's where we began our journey overseas. That was in 2000. So
How long were you over? Were you all just back and forth, or were you over there living
no,
also?
we were there for. My wife says 7. I always say 8, but we were there said
Yeah.
a little over 7 years.
Oh, okay.
Um, we were there, and then when we came back in 2008. Um, we were having grandkids. We had grandkids. We were having
Yeah.
more kids, and my wife really. We had lost our son in the midst of all that, and so it was time to come
It was
back.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
you still been leading missions over there.
yeah. Yeah.
Seems like quite a bit. Like,
Oh yeah. Yeah. So we'd made the decision. Okay, we're coming back, and we prayerfully made that with others, and I remember in the midst of that saying to the Lord, okay, this is one of those things, God, I'm going to die to this, because I loved it. I mean, it was just, I loved the culture. I loved the language. I loved everything about it. It was, to me,
yeah.
it's why God made me he
Yeah.
made me for this, and
Yeah.
I'm about to walk away from it. And so I just prayed and said, Lord, I'm going to die to this, because I know that I need to take care of my wife and my family. And so if I never come back to China, East Asia,
Yeah.
never come back
Yeah.
to East Asia, never, work with the honey again, I'm going to pursue you. I'm going to trust you.
Mhm.
And I just felt a peace about it. The next day, I got a call from Mike and Dave. He was the missions guy while I was over there, and we had a really large ministry going by this time. Had 2 businesses that we were operating that supported our local workers, and they asked me, "Hey, is there a way that we could keep you leading this team? Because we feel like if you just step out." And by that time, our church had began sending people. So most of our
Oh,
team
wow.
that was not local people was made up of folks that the church had sent. And so that's how I began doing the travel back and forth. So
Wow.
I would spend about 4 to 6 months out of the year over there, and the rest over here. And
Yeah.
started that with Kids Across Cultures. I remember Dave telling me, yeah, they just started this organization. It was brand new. He said, yeah, we could put you on. You could work with Kids Across Cultures. And I was like, okay, great. And he said, but we don't have any money to pay you. So you have to raise your own support. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, man. If there's one thing in life I could change, it would be ministers having to raise their own support for their
Yeah.
own nonprofits they work in. Like, golly.
Yeah. It was fine. I mean, like everything else, we knew what we were getting into when we said yes. And so it was a new experience for me. And the Lord even used that. It was not fun. I worked a couple jobs and then raised some support. It is kind of hard to raise support to be a
God.
missionary while you're living in the U.S., traveling overseas. But we
Oh,
did it.
yeah.
We did it. The Lord provided, and really, it was kind of good, because it helped me know and understand for the people that we were sending, and others that we worked with. Most missionaries have to do that, and so
Yeah.
it really helped me understand how to help them better, help me understand how the church can do more.
Yeah.
Where it's not just we're putting this on your shoulders and hopefully it'll work out, and if it doesn't, well,
Yeah. Well, and
so
you said, golly, you said over 10,000 filters placed
yeah,
through kids across cultures and, across East Asia and all. I mean, that's crazy. Can people support that? Is it an independent? What would be
Yeah,
a good way if somebody's like listening and be like, I want to sew into that?
yeah. They can go to kidsacrosscultures.org and
Okay.
there's a donate and there's a specific, I think there's a specific thing for water filters. I'm not sure. It shows you how
Or
much
just support, do the
can,
general. I mean, even do the
yeah,
general help, and you guys will use it as
yeah,
where
yeah.
needed.
It
Yeah.
almost all goes to ministry. Um, we have pretty low overhead. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
so nice.
For sure.
Yeah. So yeah, we've done a lot of medical clinics. So with Kids Across Cultures, we focus on mainly on education. We want
Okay.
children in impoverished areas to be able to get an education. It's really
Wow.
important. And then medical and nutrition. That's huge in again in these impoverished areas for kids to be. Most of the kids, especially those that we were working with there in East Asia, that first place I went to, they had no access to medical care at all.
Oh my.
Living up in the mountains, and
Yeah.
they just didn't have it. Their infant
Yeah.
mortality rate was super high. And so and we were able to help with just some small things. Clean water is a huge thing.
Oh yeah.
People don't realize, I think, sometimes how much illness and sickness comes through polluted water.
Yeah.
And so we use an in-home water filter. It looks like a little bucket or a pot, but it's got
Yeah.
a pot inside that filters out all the
Oh
bacteria and
man.
things. And
Well, that
um,
changes health of your life completely.
it's amazing how much it changes. And really a cool thing is with water, when you have waterborne illnesses, when you can get the right meds to take care of that and then give them clean water, I mean, it doesn't take a
Oh
year, for them to get
yeah.
better. They get better right away.
Yeah.
And, for these young moms to see their children who, maybe they've already lost a couple,
Yeah.
and to see them go from, just being sick all the time to healthy is huge.
Oh, what a joy.
It's great. It's amazing. Uh, Mom after mom after mom um, that we've been able to do this with will they use that in their description of love, what love is.
Oh man.
Somebody loved my child. I get
Oh
emotional.
man. Yeah.
Somebody loved my child, helped my child with this, and man, I understand now what real love is.
Oh,
And then of course,
wow.
sharing the father's love, and it's like, yeah, I understand that. So it's really a neat thing, and we've given we still do those. We're working in Cambodia too now,
Oh wow.
and it's been amazing. We just started this program called Every Kid Counts a few years ago, and we're working with a local church, a couple that felt called to start a church outside of Siem Reap, and man, they just gave their lives to the Lord and said, "Here, we hear you. We're going to do this." And they had nothing to start. I mean, they're local. They're Cambodian folks, and just the sweetest people you'd ever meet. And so we began to partner with them. And the thing was is we want to sponsor 20 families to be able to help their children go to school and get them a water filter, make sure they have access to clean water. And a part of the sponsorship will be we'll take the kids, we'll get them a medical checkup every year, a dental checkup, vision checkup, and make sure they have clothes to wear, and they have to have uniforms for school. And then for the families, we do we provide a protein, basically a lot of eggs and stuff, protein stuff for them to be able to feed their family each month.
Mm.
And that's kind of on a time. I don't want to say a time limit. If a family needs it, we'll continue to do that. But we're helping them with raised bed gardens to help
Oh wow.
raise their own food. And some of them we're helping them to raise chickens, and then have their own eggs and things like that. So we're trying to not have them dependent on us,
Yeah.
but to just give them a hand up, and to help
Yeah.
them with education. And so it's just been incredible. I mean, incredible. Most of these kids had never been in school, and we have various ages. We've got little ones from like first grade all the way up to some junior high school kids. And we've got several now that are at the top of their class. It's pretty amazing. So you got these kids because we provide that we have some workers there, local workers, that they provide tutoring for the kids, like 3 nights a week, and
Yeah.
discipleship. They've all come to faith, of course. And so they get tutoring throughout the week. They have community there at the church. There was probably 20, 25 folks coming, and there's like 150 kids alone that are coming now. And they just, Vuthi and Mom, the pastor and his wife, they just provide a community, a real faith community for these families and these kids that they are thriving in. And so we're up to 30 kids. I'm hoping that we can do some more this coming year. We'll see. But it's just been amazing. It's been to see that life transformation happen. These impoverished kids that are coming out of, there in Cambodia, most of the families are either grandparents raising kids or a grandmother raising kids,
Oh, okay.
or a single mom. We only have, I think, 2 families, maybe 3, that have a kind of a mom and a dad.
Really?
Raising.
Wow.
And and that's common there. It's
Yeah.
very, very common. So just to see how God is restoring these kids and giving them life. And I mean, I wish I could, I got a zillion pictures. I wish I could show you of just the transformations, even just the physical transformation that's taken place, but then the spiritual, the emotional, for kids to come from, really a parent that's kind of indifferent to them. There's a whole lot in this Khmer culture that parents just don't love their kids the way. I think they love them, but they don't express love.
Yeah.
And so for these kids to,
Feel
it's
those.
amazing.
Oh,
So,
well, golly, I would encourage people to look into Kids Across Culture and pour into it, and go to the website. Would you say kidsacrosscultures.com?
.org.
Yeah. .org, sorry, and pour into that. It's literally changing, saving lives.
Yeah, it's really cool. I'd invite you guys to come with me.
I know. I just told my daughter this morning, I go, I'm going to get to interview Craig, and I am going to go with him at some point. Micah, I think a trip would be good. You've been once. Have you been once?
I haven't been to Kids Across Culture.
Oh, okay.
With I can't remember the name of the group, but when I was at Timber Ridge, we went to Vietnam, and we're helping build kitchens and bathrooms and stuff at some of the I think we were in the Red Hamong area.
Okay, yeah.
Towards the Vietnam-China border, and we were there helping their public schools, or whatever whatever you want to call them, village schools. But we had 2 different schools we were at, and we played games with them. Kind of were normal, like Americans, because most of them have never seen Americans. And then our main focus there was to help them build these kitchens, because some of these kids, and I'm sure it's the same in some of these other areas that you've played around in, Craig, is that some of these kids travel. They have to go far, far away for whatever they're doing, whether it's work, to get water, whatever. They're traveling 10, 12, 15 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So at the school we were at, some of these kids would travel 10 miles every morning to get to the school, because it was the one time they were going to eat that day.
Right.
And then they would, as soon as school was over, which was like maybe 3 or 4 hours, they would have to head back to the village because they all had to work.
Yeah.
To some extent.
That's commonplace, and that's the norm for most of that region. Certainly the minorities in the rural areas of those regions. And it's, It's amazing to me because just like God steps into our life, our journey at his timing and reveals himself to us and saves us, we can step into the life of a child. I'm sure you did. I mean, there's some kid you could probably close your eyes and think about that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's usually the two or three that end up just kind of like following you around the whole time.
Yeah.
Like your instant buddies.
Yeah.
And you have a language barrier, but like, a high five or like a hug when you leave or whatever those things are. I mean, that, like, to your point, that could change that dude or that little girl's outlook on just people in general. Like, okay, randos are not scary, kind of thing.
Yeah. It's a seed planted for sure.
Mike, I bet you got a lot of little buddies. But
I bet he does.
That whole city folds you around.
I may have had 6 or 7 or 8, and it's because I let them throw soccer balls at me.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things about this church, Micah, is they love worship. So the pastor, he's pretty accomplished musician, and he teaches a lot of the young people how to play guitar, drums, piano, all this. And so they really have a huge focus on praise and worship. The kids from the time, I mean, there's 8, 9-year-olds up there helping lead worship. It's
That's
really
awesome
to watch. I think musicians, whenever Sarah Ground went with me last time, and she's of course one of our worship leaders, and musicians there just seems to be even a more special connect with this little church and the kids, because of your love for music and praise and worship. And so come on, man, I'd love to take you.
All right, well, let's end with this. So if you had to say, like, just so far, here's kind of a life message somebody can get from me, what would that be? And it doesn't have to be well articulated and all that.
Okay.
So, what I'm saying? So
no, it would be the same story, Josh, that God doesn't just come into our lives to save us and then lay dormant. Mike says it like that. God has a plan for each of our lives and purposes, and that plan is for good works that will bring people to glorify him and honor him. And when we're walking in those things, when we're doing those things, when we're living that part of our journey out, that life out, man, there is nothing like it. And it's the life that's reigning in life, to me, that Paul talks about. That's what real life is. And Jesus says, and he quotes from Isaiah 61, I think it is, that he comes to set the captives free. And what are we captives? That we're captives to sin and, all the junk of this world. But he came to set us free from that and for a purpose. And that purpose is to walk with him. And man, I can't encourage people enough. The Lord wants to show you that purpose. He wants you to be walking in it. And if you need help, you guys and
I was about to say, come on to the Cottonwood and bump into Craig and ask him questions, and he'll get you pointed in the right space too. So
we'll do our best,
Craig, I love it, man. Thank you so much.
Well,
what a powerful message. And I do love the fact that a lot of times I think people stop on the whole, Jesus came to set us free, but that was really sweet. You mentioned for a purpose, like, and once you found yours, and once the Lord led you to yours, it's just like, yep. And now look at the fruit. It's wonderful. So thanks for making time today.
Oh, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Mike, it's good to see you.
Yeah, it's good. It's been a while since I've been at Cottonwood. It's one of my favorite places. And of course, you and Pastor Fritch and, I just have wonderful memories from being there, from the awesome people that are there. So it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you, man. Come visit us if you can sometime.
Yes, sir.
Love to see you.
Thanks, Craig.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys. Take care.
Thank you for joining us on this latest edition to the Storyfield podcast. We hope that you have been challenged, inspired, and ready to take that next step, whatever that is. If you know someone with an amazing story that needs to be heard, send us an email at info@thestoryfield.com. Have a fantastic day, and we can't wait for you to join us on the next episode of The Story Field.